Rewinding to spring with Blue Moon Blossoms. It is June 21st, 2022. It is over 100 degrees today in Tracy, California. I am not on board with being in the heat of summer yet, but I am excited for the full moon. It is the longest day of the year with the summer solstice, and that is why I am feeling inspired to bring back my Blue Moon Blossoms class, teaching it live the first week of July. I would love to share with you the inspiration behind this painting and the life lessons that go along with it. Forgiveness, practice patience, letting go, and expanding our lives. First, we need to go backwards to the blooming blossom painting before we can go forward into the blooming blossoms. So this class, I've taught to over like 1,000 students. You can watch this slower and get the message on the playlist on this channel that you're probably watching this on. And it is all about how forgiving acrylics are and how we should be forgiving as well to not just other people, but especially to ourselves. I know as a sensitive artist, I am super hard on myself. So going into that forgiveness mindset is very helpful. The other theme is all about practice, and we practice our branches and our blossoms in the class. We, as artists, we think, oh, well, we should be able to just sit down and create something. But would you wear ballet slippers to play soccer or expect to play the piano just by sitting at one? No, right? We're going to have the right tools. We're going to practice to get to where we want to be. Like music and sports, art requires practice along with the right tools. Moving forward into this Blooming Blossoms painting, I like the theme of patience and letting go with this one. I love a full moon and any excuse to use iridescent medium in a painting. The most challenging part of this painting is creating the craters to make them look cratery. Of course, this is a fantasy moon as seen from the planet of your imagination. So, have fun with it. But to get to where I got, and I'm getting here in this video, is I needed to add layers. Between layers, I had to let it dry, come back and add layers, reapply. I painted over too much, back and forth. Having patience with yourself and the materials is key to gaining an understanding of how you and the materials will work together. Once you have the moon in the painting the way you want, you could get into the tree, which could or could not crash into the moon. And we worked so hard to get to the moon, you might be afraid, like, I'm ruining it. But being able to get to this most important element of the tree with the blossoms on it, you don't want to come at it with anxiety and shrink the tree's potential. And this is true for my life. When I'm being impatient and holding on too tightly of what I want or how I expect things to turn out, I risk living small and in anxiety. I'm a very anxious person. So I like to think of both of these paintings, and when I look at them, when I'm in those spaces, I am reminded to practice being forgiving of myself, patient with myself, and letting go so that I can expand, opening to a greater creativity and having good feelings and experiencing what life has to offer because I am in a more positive space. I am offering Blue Moon Blossoms live the first week of July for like 8 to 10 students, and the dates and links and everything are in the notes to this video. So definitely check it out. And to get ready for it, here's a little commercial coming that I made. I'll throw that up on social media, various places. But here is just the quick fast paint of it all the way through. And if you become a member of my creative community, you'll be able to have access to a replay of this. So if you're watching this in the future and you're like, I completely missed that class because it's 2040, don't worry, join the community. It'll be on there. There are times that I will bring this back as well. But definitely, I'd love for you to join me. And next, I am going to share out with you what you need to have to get ready for this painting. Blue Moon Blossoms, getting ready for class. Things to have on hand: iridescent paint, any kind of metallics. I like the iridescent medium, it's thinner. magenta, any shade of pink, brilliant blue is fantastic, dark blue, black will help make your brilliant blue a little bit darker for the dark part of the sky. I like black for the branches on this one. I still will throw in some teal or turquoise in the sky. And any additional colors that you want, gloss mediums are completely optional. Do have a pencil. We will draw a tiny bit. Thicker consistency paints. If you have painted with me before, you know the speech. I like the thicker ones, especially for the moon that we'll be doing. We do want things to be a bit thicker for layering. Otherwise, these thinner ones, any of the craft ones, the thinner golden, if you're going for a higher quality, will give you some frustration for this piece. If you do only have the thinner paints, investing in a thicker white, Artist Loft is what I use because Michael's is down the street, but Blick is awesome. I'll order from them occasionally, and also Liquitex Basics. Golden has a heavier body. I suggest the gel medium for newer painters to get a little feel for it. Any of the mediums would be great. I use it a little bit in the moon, and then always I like to have a glossy final finish. I'll use the gloss as well to thin down my paints a little bit if they are too thick. And here are the brushes I will have on hand. The fan brush is optional. That goes back to the style of blossoms you may want. And if you have not taken my Blooming Blossoms class, it is available at your own pace for free. So I definitely take advantage of that. There are links in the notes to this video for you to access that. It is okay to trace, so grab something circular that is the approximate size of the moon that you would like. If you want the extra challenge, go ahead and draw that moon yourself. I do in the instructional video on this, just kind of show how I struggle even with a circle. What are you painting on? I do like a good 12 by 12 square when I do a blossom painting, but these, do an 8 by 10 to start, maybe a 9 by 12 on mixed medium paper. I wouldn't go too much larger. It will take you longer to paint unless you have a lot of time to paint. Then definitely go larger. And portrait versus landscape, up to you. If you have that square, you really don't have a choice, right? Which way it would go. I do write my name on the back of paintings. You can do that now or when you finish it up. I always love to have the date though, so I can remember, when did I do that? Have those larger flats available. This is a 3/4 inch. If you have a larger canvas, definitely use a 1-inch flat. The smaller flat will be fantastic for working on the moon. Also, the smaller round brushes are good for cratering in detail. If you have these textury brushes, they're fantastic for the craters and even blossoms. They look cool. Do not ruin your brush. Ways that you could do so easily with this piece is we'll be doing a lot of dabbing and just lots of paint, so you may find that your brush will get out of shape. So just be aware not to scrub too hard on it, but don't be shocked if it starts getting out of shape. Definitely don't leave the paint to dry in the brush or in the water overnight. Guilty, guilty. That's why I'm sharing with you. Remember not to ruin your brush. And sometimes it's tempting to use that tip to draw into the paint. Just make sure you wipe that off. Cleaning your paintbrush, it does take time. I really like to make sure I wipe as much paint off my paintbrush before I put it in water. There's my really gross paintbrush cleaning caddy. I've had it for decades. Definitely invest in one. I think they're like $15 or $20. It's worth it. Color choices. Get that inspiration tool out, the color wheel. Love this thing. It helps me see the different ways I can get to colors, give me ideas for colors. A primary color is red, yellow, blue. When I'm purchasing paint, I do use a deep magenta, deep yellow, brilliant blue as my primary colors. And here's how we mix into our secondary colors. I do love the flip side of that color wheel. This is where the fun is, where you can turn it, figure out complementary colors, split complements, triads. I won't really be using it for this painting, but I do like to have it to just in case. My favorite color is purple, so my direct complement is yellow, so I do have that in a lot of my paintings. We will doing, gradiating through from the moon. Our blossoms will be a little bit lighter as it's closest to the moon and getting darker in values as it goes away down into the main branch of the branch. So tints and shades. Tints is when you mix with white. Shades is mixed with black, and we'll be mixing black in definitely with our blues to get a darker look of our sky. What size and where is your moon? Completely up to you. But that's the one planning thing we're going to do. Needing the pencil, we're gonna block out that moon. Where you place it is completely up to you. I did not take this photograph, so I have a little bit of credit over there on the left for that I snagged off the Creative Commons. Scale is the general size and parts. I wanted my tree to be a little bit bigger than my moon, but definitely I have two competing superstars here with the whole of the piece. And that's why I needed to think about perspective too and how it's spaced out. For me, with this particular one, I wanted to just like have a shout out to both the moon and the blossom tree. So they are, blossom tree is a little bit spanning out more into the canvas, but definitely want it to look like it is in front of that giant moon. And so our background will be the moon, our foreground, we will want our blossom tree. You may not expand all the way out into the moon, but remember, we don't want to limit ourselves to that. So just knowing that you may or may not crash into your moon. All right, that's a lot. Reach out to me with any questions.